Okay. Pussy's up.
Pussy's up.
Pussy's up.
Pussy's out.
Pussy's out.
Pussy's in.
Pussy's out, boys. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second episode of the Closet Cast. Today, I'm joined by Joseph. Will you introduce yourself?
Yeah. So, that's Seth's preface. I'm Joe. Joseph for long. Joe for short. Yeah, I'm here today as a friend. We're going to get this thing cracking here.
We're going to crack-a-lackin'.
Crack a schmack or just lack?
Probably crack-a-lackin' and schlackin'. Lots of
Came here for both, so
cracking and...
got delivered.
Yeah, that's right.
Help keep your computer.
There's topics that I've brought up. And typically I do extensive research into whoever I'm talking to. So I did that with you as well. I'm kidding. I know you quite well. I feel like I picked some pretty good topics to start with. I was going to bring up one of our favorite game series that you and I talk about often.
Five Nights at Freddy's?
Five Nights at Freddy's. What do you think of Five Nights at Freddy's security breach?
I think it just ended the franchise for me.
It's dead?
It's dead now, yeah.
Mm.
What do you feel?
More Freddy.
More Freddy.
More Freddy.
Understand.
More Freddy.
Always
Definitely.
more Freddy, right?
Definitely more Freddy. He's my favorite character.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love Freddy. Oh shit!
Oh!
What the
What is going on?
Oh yeah, look at that. Hold on, folks, we got a technical issue. We're back. Sorry about that, folks. So yeah, I wanted to bring up Fallout. We talk about Fallout here. This is a Fallout-free podcast. We are very open about our feelings about Fallout.
Very open.
Everything is with Fallout is great. It was great.
I would say was. You know, with Fallout 76, I actually pre-ordered that. I told you about that, right?
Oh, you did?
I pre-ordered that game, if you'd call it a game.
Yeah.
And I actually got the special deluxe edition that was $79.99, and you got 5 things in game.
Yeah.
That don't affect the gameplay at all.
Just cosmetics.
Just cosmetics, yeah. Bethesda's been doing that lately. They've been more about, the cosmetics. Microtransactions were plaguing all games now.
We are.
And yeah, that's the way it goes. But
Mm-hmm.
what are you thinking? Start with the good or the bad? I
Wow.
mean, my favorite is arguably 3 or New Vegas. I'd say 3 a little bit more because that's my first introduction.
Yeah.
Was Fallout 3, but gotta love that Western stuff.
Gotta love that Western stuff. I mean, we're wearing the cowboy hats for a reason here. I'm going under, and I'm thirsty. I'm going under. Well, I don't know what I've been told, but uranium ore is worth more.
I was listening to Johnny Cash over here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You were?
I was listening to Folsom Prison Blues, same vibe.
Do you think Fallout New Vegas would have been better if they had more Johnny Cash?
I think so.
Yeah.
Or even Willie Nelson, because, they got that specific sound that no one else really has, that when you hear it, it's just oh, that's cowboy.
There's a Willie Nelson song in Red Dead 2.
There is?
Yeah.
You know what song? I haven't played Red Dead 2.
I think it's just called Cruel World.
Cruel World.
Yeah.
Fitting.
Very fitting. And it quite is, it's a cruel world.
It's more of a modern take, I'd say, putting that in there, because it's
Death. Destruction. So yeah, your favorite's Fallout 3.
Yes.
Closely followed by New Vegas.
Yes.
What about 4? Where does that land?
4, just, I'd say below New Vegas, a little bit farther from the distance compared to the distance from 3 to New Vegas. It's just with I had an Xbox One, like the original
Mm.
Xbox One, and running that game on that system. Usually, I'd play for about 3 hours tops, and then it'd quit. And sometimes it would quit while it was trying to autosave. So then I'd have to backtrack, but it wasn't that big of a deal because it autosaves quite often. But I really liked the whole. I forgot like the specific name, but you got the chance to like build and like sanctuary.
Oh yeah.
Like you could put traps there and like the turrets and stuff, and actually have like NPCs that kind of had personalities to them, just with the dialogue wheel instead of like the classic where it was an actual menu. Like in 3 New Vegas, you had more options to talk to people.
Oh yeah.
In Fallout 4, I felt like you, the main character, were more of just like an observer of the wasteland.
Interesting.
With like how limited some of the options were sometimes, because you'd have I can't remember the names, but the main dude with the cowboy hat,
like Preston Garvey.
Garvey, he'd go on about this giant struggle, and you'd have, okay, wow, that sucks.
Oh yeah.
And then like ... or you guys should really get a better place, or something like that. And
it's always like a generic good guy line, generic bad guy line, or like silence.
Yeah.
Or sarcastic.
Right. And I felt like the skills, or not the skills, but the special stats weren't really like used as much. Like you had to have like a specific intelligence level in the older games to like execute those specific commands, or like the speech skills.
Yeah.
Like the speech skill in Fallout 4 wasn't really as big of a deal, or it wasn't as noticeable. It was just like, oh, I didn't have these options before. I guess that's because of the speech skill. I don't know. But what's how would you rank Fallout 4? Because I know you put a quite bit more time in that
little bit
game, and it's also because it's endless, infinite levels. I think I stopped playing at level 78, something like that.
That's about where I would stop too.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, there's nothing really to do after that point.
Right.
And if you're not like really invested in like the settlement building, then I feel like the game can kind of you get bored of it real quick.
Yeah.
It's funny because 4 is probably has the worst writing and the worst story maybe out of all of them.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But it has the best gameplay. I would think.
Like the gunplay was a lot more responsive.
Yeah.
When it didn't glitch, like
when
in the first game, like first stages of the game when it rolled out, like new. I remember that's when I got it. And sometimes you'd take the 32 rifle, you'd reload, and it'd get stuck.
Yeah.
And then it's like you were just walking around, like pointing it. You couldn't.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that happening. Yeah. The early days, but it's I think it's my most played game ever. Maybe I have 1,000 hours in it.
Nice.
1,000. That's
a milestone.
That's multiple weeks straight. That's doesn't mean I like the game.
Right.
I think if anything, it means that I kind of wish the game was better. Every time I replay it, I'm kind of hoping to experience something new.
Right.
Or experience like a hidden thing that I haven't found before, or like go through total anarchist, just like killing everyone.
Yeah, that was something with New Vegas. You could be, with Caesar's Legion and just completely wipe them out, or it was the NCR. The Brotherhood had a little role in it. I think it was just like those 1 or 2 bases they had, and you could like make friends with them, but it didn't really have an impact.
Right.
But it still kind of did, because that's our thing in like New Vegas. The other NPCs actually were aware of your decisions more. But in Fallout 4, I remember I actually opened fired on like one of the NPC settlements, went back to Sanctuary, and they said like one slight to me, but they still, were civil. And I think my karma at that time was like evil, because I did that. It's just like the karma system too wasn't as like big of a deal, because in the other games, if you messed up, you actually had to like fix it or go back to an old save. Or you could do that, play the game like that, just wreak mayhem and anarchy, and then just go back to a previous save and do another route.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree. The whole like moral system is more based upon like factions and stuff.
Right.
And I remember in New Vegas, I mean, you don't really have to side with any faction in order to beat the game.
Yeah.
But in Fallout 4, I'm pretty sure you have to. Like, you have to side with one of them.
Yeah, because I think it's to the point where, what's the other faction?
There's the Minutemen, the Railroad.
The Railroad.
Brotherhood of Steel, and the Institute.
The Institute specifically was what I was thinking of. They're kind of like, you don't really know about them. Even when you get to their like base, you still don't really know what they are. And then, spoiler alert, if you haven't played the game,
Spoilers!
Spoiler time!
Oh my god!
Spoiler dump.
Woo!
Turns out it's your son.
It's your son.
That's aged longer than you because you were cryogenically frozen, and then you're in the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, oh, hey son, Dad, Grandpa,
Hey, Papa.
hey Papa,
Hey, Papa.
I'm gonna kill all your sins.
I'm gonna kill all your sins, Papa. Perhaps eat some sweet rolls. And
Some cinnamon milk.
maybe
too.
some cinnamon.
Maybe some caramel dulce deluxe syrup too. You feel me?
Ouch.
Ooh, that burns. That cinnamon too hot for me.
Do you have a least favorite Fallout game?
So apparently, I think my least favorite would be 76.
I agree.
But
Easy answer.
like every time I think, oh, they had a new update. They say they fixed this, or there's actually NPCs that are there.
Yeah.
I think they relied way too much on you can play co-op, or not co-op, but online. You can play with other people, but you get in a game that has other people in it, and there's nothing. Like, you try to like request, like a trade, or I forgot the other things you can do, or you could like party up, and it'd go declined, or they'd be with a group and they're all level 100, level whatever, and it's like, how are you guys still playing this game?
I saw someone at level 700.
I don't know how that's possible. Like, is there really that much to do?
The thing is that
There's like the live quests you can do.
yeah, they do that live service type of game management where every day there's a new challenge to do, and it usually involves just like going somewhere and killing something. And there's also a main story and also side quests. It's a fully fleshed out Fallout game. It's got pretty. I think honestly, it has a better open world than 4 though.
I would say that
Appalachia is a really cool looking place compared to other Fallout games, and the map looks cool too.
They did good on like the visuals.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah, the visuals look better than 4.
Everything else, I'd say not so.
So if they were maybe using Fallout 76 to litmus test what people want from Fallout, would it be as bad if like Fallout 5 or the new Fallout that's coming out whenever is good? Maybe it's good because of Fallout 76 and people responded to 76 like, hey, maybe you need to get a new engine, and they did.
Yeah. So I think I really think they kind of just released that game just to get feedback sometimes. Because the thing is, though, with that game, I know a lot of the requests for that game, they didn't listen, and instead, you feel like went on their Instagram, you'd see, all new this week, new Fallout 76 merch.
It's always like, merch.
Really? Like I said before, they're really like pushing for the merch and like collectible aspects of it.
It pisses me off.
Pisses me off. You know what really grinds my gears?
They have good IPs. That's the thing. And they just make bad games.
Yeah.
It pisses me off.
It really does. Instant profit, shitty games. And then they've had that Skyrim game in the works for like years now, and
don't think that's ever coming out.
did it get postponed again?
Well, speaking of that, I actually wrote this down. We got like 2 minutes left, so I'll just kind of briefly mention it.
All right.
There's a new Bethesda game coming out this year.
Like entirely new?
Yeah, new IP. It's called Starfield.
Oh, Starfield. I forgot about it.
It's basically Fallout in space.
Right.
And they built a new engine for it, and quite honestly, it's going to be the thing that makes or breaks Bethesda from now on.
I really think so, because I feel like they did that in response. Excuse me. I'm so sorry.
Insponse is like
Insponse.
a shorter way, an easier way to say it, in my opinion.
Insponse. Yeah, it flows off the tongue a bit better.
Mm-hmm.
But did you play it? You played Outer Worlds, right?
Yeah, I did.
That I think was really good. That seemed like a better like Fallout-esque game than 76.
It's the best Fallout since New Vegas.
It really is.
Mm-hmm.
I think they made not Outer Worlds.
They made New Vegas. Those people.
Yeah, they did.
Mm-hmm.
But with the new game that came out, what was it? Starfield.
Mm-hmm.
I think they made Starfield in response to that, and they might have used that game that I mentioned, Outer Worlds, sort of, see where the community's, wants lie. Because I know a lot of people who played Fallout, they played that game.
Yeah,
sure. Because I think that was like suggested on Xbox right next to Fallout 4 and 76 for like new RPG games on sale, and that was one of them.
My only complaint with Outer Worlds is that it doesn't feel like an open world to me.
It's kind of restrictive to what you can do. It's like, yeah, you have all these planets and all these things to do, but you're limited to these locations.
Yeah, it's a few cities, but the game looks gorgeous and has a
really
pretty good, like a lot of different storylines, and you can pretty much do anything.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be right back after these messages. Yes. Give me a cracker. Where's my... Oh, I forgot we had water. Where did I put mine? Where's my water? Are you water? Where is it?
What volume from 135?
What price are you at? It's like I'm blind. I can't see what's going on. I don't know what the market price is. The way they used to deal with it, you needed something and you needed it now. It could take you hours, days.
When did the price change?
What is the real price?
What is the real price?
The price was hidden, and it took an incredible amount of work to dig it out. Enron Online will change the markets for many, many commodities. It is creating an open, transparent marketplace that replaces the dark, blind system that existed. It is real simple. You turn on your computer, and it's right there. And if you want to do business, you push the button. That's our vision. We're trying to change the world.
I'm good, man, I'm snapping. I'm good and I'm snapping. Good and I'm snapping. I'm good and I'm snapping. 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 Good, snapping. I'm good. Snap.
We're back.
Snap, we're back.
We're back.
And we're back after that commercial. Who's that commercial from? What company? Was it Enron? I think it was an Enron commercial.
It was Enron.
Yeah, it was definitely an Enron commercial. Thank you, Enron, for sponsoring this episode.
Thank you so much.
So we're back. I figured we might as well get into something pretty interesting. You know what I saw you doing?
What?
When you came here?
What?
I saw you took your car and you went into this like roundabout, like kind of close to my place, and you did a huge ass donut, like a whole like 180, like Initial D style.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because your car kind of looks like the car from Initial D.
It does. It's similar, like
It's a compact.
For the time, though, it was actually a mid-sized sedan.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And that's the thing, like, back in the day,
Back in the day.
you had the little tiny cars, like the Beetle. The Beetle then is, like, I think, not a third of the size, but, like, 33% less than the size of, like, the Beetles now. But yeah, for the time, that car is like a mid-size sedan, which is crazy because if you sit in the back, it's like, why are the walls so close?
It's
You
tight.
know? Yeah, but that's the reason why I got it. Just, they made that car Volvo 240 because it's like practicality, safe, and slow.
Mhm.
That's why people bought it, and that's one of the reasons why I like them so much. 3 of the reasons.
Yeah, it's a very nice car. I like the way it looks.
Boxy and fun.
You'll have to send me a picture of it. Maybe I'll throw it up on screen if you want.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll erase the license plate. Unless you
Erase.
want people to know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just saw you do that incredible donut.
Yeah.
I knew it was you because I heard the noise first. I was just like laying in my bed here, and I heard like a, and then I was like, what the? And then I looked out my window and just saw like your incredible white car
Incredible.
doing like a whole 180.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm glad you saw it. Thanks. Yeah, there was that guy walking his dog right out there. And I
Yeah.
was like, should I really do this? But he seemed preoccupied with something on the phone. I heard something about vasectomy and Kyle. So
Kyle's vasectomy.
maybe, or it's maybe for Kyle.
You think Kyle?
Might be his gay lover.
Oh,
know.
oh my God. Well, why does someone need a vasectomy for a gay lover? It's not like they can impregnate their gay husband.
They might just have, like, they might be allergic to sperm.
Is that possible?
It is possible.
To be allergic to sperm?
Yeah, it's possible to be allergic to water, dude.
I don't believe that.
I don't really either,
How
but
can you be allergic to water if there's like water in everything?
I think the people who are afflicted with that, they actually like have to take the medication to stay alive because their body is water. Like, was it 2/3 water? That you actually have like internal allergic reactions to the water that's inside your body.
So, are they just like beef jerky then? Beef jerky
I
humans?
feel like they'd have to be, yeah. Because in response to the reaction, I think the body would want to expel the water somehow. So, yeah, you just eventually be like a beef jerky stick person. I think by the time they get put in the ground, it's just, you might as well put a Jack Link's label on it. Because that's basically what they are.
A beef jerky stick person.
Beef jerky stick person. Right.
Just because they didn't, because these motherfuckers out here allergic to water.
Allergic to water. Yeah. Oh, real quick, back to what you were saying.
Yeah.
With the initial D of 5. It's kind of like a similar car. Like, it's a small car. It's rear-wheel drive. And they're actually, like, comically slow. But they're good for drifting because they're slow. Because you have, like, the really fast cars that, they're all about speed.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you have to turn, you can't turn at full speed, so they have to slow down. But with the slower cars, their top speed is perfect for drifting. So they can stay at their top speed and rely on drifting to stay ahead instead of just speed and mechanical prowess.
Interesting.
Prowess.
Bro.
Give me your best prowess right now, son.
Prowess.
Oh my God. This exudes sex.
Thank you.
You're a sex man. You really are.
Thank you. Joe.
Yeah.
I think you're the definition of sex.
Really?
Sex. Sex.com.
That's
If you
so
were a
sweet of you.
website, it'd be sex.org.
Sex.org. Yeah, I ain't no corporation.
Yeah, exactly.
We small town.
Or sex. Dot,
EDU?
edu.
Education.
Yeah, that's.
Education.
We're gonna. I was gonna
Transition here?
ask you to tell your story. You think you can tell it in
Yeah.
what is it? 14 minutes.
14 minutes? I think I can.
So Joe, I asked Joe to prepare his best story because Joe is known for telling incredible stories, just like one after the other. I don't even have one interesting story to tell, and Joe has too many for one episode, and it's just incredible. So I just had to ask
Thank
him
you,
just to
Seth.
pick one,
Alright.
like your best one, and
Going in,
I'm ready.
I didn't decide yet. So
Mhm.
I'm doing this on the fly, folks.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I've been through a lot in my life. A lot of which was shit I saw in the woods. Whether it be up north in Wisconsin or Michigan or even Canada. I actually recently told Seth one Canadian story about how I think I saw a Wendigo.
My God. Oh,
You're not supposed to say their name.
yeah, you're not. There's woods outside my house.
Right.
So
So,
they could just be like lurking in the trees, and they just hear Wendigo. It's like a whisper, and they just come for you.
just come.
But yeah, go ahead with your story.
Alright.
About that.
So, I'm actually going to tell a different story
Different story.
that's also about a Wendigo. That happened.
Mhm.
Oh, man. It happened in my grandpa's property up north in Coloma, Wisconsin. And I'd say it was about 6 years ago. I'm 21 now. Around when I was 15. And I just started learning, like, through scouts about, like, you know, the Native American legends of, like, I believe in Lake Superior, there's, like, a sea monster that's reminiscent of the Loch Ness Monster, and also Wendigos / Wendigos. They're actually two different beasts. But anyway, I was just chilling outside with my BB gun, shooting cans. It was at dusk, so starting to get. Wait, is dusk in the morning?
Dusk is
that-
night. Like
Dusk
when the
is
sun.
night. I always
when the sun
confused the
sets.
two.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Silly me. But yeah, it was at dusk, you know. Every time we went up there was always noises in the woods, but my grandpa would always say, you know, there's a coyote or a wolf.
Coyotes do
Woofer.
make crazy noises.
They do. They scream like humans,
Mm-hmm.
and they're terrifying to hear. But I digress. I was just shooting cans in the woods because they had a little patio. Step out onto the patio, you could see their fireplace that was about 20 feet from the patio, and then behind that there was a little garden my grandma had, and then like thick woods, because they lived in like this random circle in the woods of 8 houses. They're pretty spread apart, kind of far, and to get there it was like I'd say half a long mile road, like gravel road off of County Y or something like that. And pretty secluded. Nearest hospital was 45 minutes. Nearest grocery store was 20, you know, that kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember that night, after I shot BB through a can, you know, you hear the ping. I heard like scurrying in the woods. I was like, okay, probably just a rabbit, because it sounded smaller. So I just kept going about my business, popping cans, because my BB gun had like 100 BB capacity, something like that. So you could just sit out all night and just shoot some cans.
Yeah. Sounds very fun, by the way.
Yeah, you know, they're just BBs.
They're just BBs.
They're just BBs. No loud boom, no loud poop pow, no loud bing bing bang pow.
bang bang.
Just a little bing. So I shot the next can, and I heard again something in the woods, and this time it was like a loud snap, and it was the kind of snap that you knew it wasn't just a normal twig. It was like a big branch.
It was thunderous.
Yeah, it honestly was, because it was dead quiet. There was just a couple birds chirping, and thing is, I'm like right by his house too, so it's like, okay, if it is a threat, should I tell my grandpa? Should he come out with the shotgun, or what? You know,
Yeah.
like,
Because what if it could be like a giant coyote?
it could have been a giant coyote. It could have been like a
14-foot coyote.
mutant mega coyote, 14-footer. Yeah,
Or Harvey Weinstein.
or Harvey Weinstein. It could have been, but I kept going about my business because I was convincing myself I was accustomed to the woods, so I was used to hearing stuff in the woods and not being like, I was just, you know, the reflex was, oh, it's an animal. Well, I don't think this one was an animal. Fuck, it was another type of beast entirely. because there was these 2 pine trees after the next can I shot that were close enough that it was hard to see through them, but farther enough away that you could still see about like a foot gap of like darkness. Because at this time, the sun fully set. It was like dark. The lights on the house came on, so you had like the shadow from the light too cast into the woods, which is always, a bit more frightening. I just saw through that 1 foot gap like this gray mass move, pretty lethargically, and I was like, okay, is that a wolf? I was trying to reason with myself. Some people, wolves are terrifying, but they can be because they be snarling, they be growling and shit. And Grace is like, did Seth take on a new love? Or some of the noise we make, some of the noise we be making.
Yeah.
But it wasn't it, because at that time I was like, all right, I got to go pick up these cans. I don't want to leave them out in the woods, so I had to approach what I saw. And I remember I walked down the stairs. That tree kept steadily rustling. There was no wind, so everything else was still. It was just this one tree was moving. So I didn't know what was happening. I don't know if there was something underneath or like a buck was like rubbing against the trunk of the tree, because it was that time of year when they're in the rut or whatever it's called. And I saw the gray mass move again, and then farther down the way from where I was, this was a patio.
Mm-hmm.
The shed was like off to the side that he had for his lawnmower and stuff, and it had like a clearing around it, about 2 feet clearing around the trees.
Yeah.
I turned and like had my face like this towards the woods, so I could see if something popped out at me or anything, God forbid.
Right.
And this thing, it kind of looked like a horse that was like going like this, similar to like the moose thing I told you about, how it moved.
So
It seemed like it went on.
I'll throw up some pictures of what I find on the internet of what, I guess what you look up when to go.
Yeah.
When to go.
When to go.
If that's what you think it was.
That's what I thought it was, because once I looked up at the shed, like bent over like this, pick up a can, I saw it move, and similar to that moose Wendigo thing I saw in Canada, it just had these massive, like, hollow, what looked like eyes.
Sheesh.
And it was by my grandpa's house, so it wasn't even like, I wouldn't say it was more alarming, but it was something you definitely didn't think you'd see, in someone's home or near someone's home.
Sounds harrowing. It sounds fucking terrifying.
It really did, because the worst thing about it was when I saw it, and it was like, it seemed to be looking at me because those like giant voids on what appeared to be its face. Because at this point, it was fully dark, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
But you could still see like the moonlight off of what could be its eye. It turned. It actually kicked off of like the shed I previously mentioned and lunged into the woods. And when it lunged into the woods, it knocked down 2 like sapling trees.
Ooh.
So you heard it snap, snap, and then
It's gone.
and the thing is, I was like, okay, I think that thing went away. Maybe it was a stray horse. I went to look at the shed because, it kicked off of it. I heard it like against the siding. Made a dent in the shed. And it looked similar to like a raccoon print, which I thought was just strange. It kind of looked like a raccoon print, but also kind of looked like a deer hoof. It was that similar like shape, but it was more, it had like the base of a deer hoof, but then it had like 2 prints that like smeared against the attic, the shed. I mean,
Goddamn.
goddamn. And it was like the print it left. It was one of those colors where it's like it could have been dried blood or it could have been mud. You know, like it was that weird, like murky, swampy color.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Like a reddish brown.
Reddish brown. Yeah. And I didn't want to. I didn't think about it. But the next day I told my grandpa about it. Like, hey, I saw something last night. Because at this point he was asleep. So I went back inside. I was kind of shooken up. I just went to bed. I told him the next day. I was like, yeah, there's something outside. And it made a print on like your shed. And it like dented the siding. I didn't know what it was. I don't know what it could be. And he was like, oh, did you look at it? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, don't look into the woods like that again. And the craziest part was when I saw in Canada, my dad said the same thing.
Yeah.
And like I told you before when I told the other story, if you hear something in the woods that's strange, you know, you shouldn't seek it out. So you're like looking for trouble. Because,
oh dear.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. A doe? A female doe. A female deer.
A female deer?
Female
yeah,
deer.
don't follow the strange shit into the woods.
Don't follow the strange shit. If you see something strange, just say, it's the woods.
But that's a fucking terrifying story.
Yeah.
Both Wendigo stories you've told are scary. Do you feel like you definitely believe in Wendigos?
Oh, 100%. And the thing I just can't understand about me as a person is I'm kind of the person to, if someone tells you not to, I'm going to want to anyway. And I know that's kind of human nature. And like Crystal, my girlfriend, your friend, great person, by the way.
She'll be on someday.
She'll be on someday soon, hopefully. You know, she'd ask me like, oh, how do you go into the woods? And it's like, I just know I've encountered something crazy twice and I'm still here. Because I feel like, you know, if you're respectful to the woods, you know, you don't seek out trouble, nothing's going to happen. They're more merely observers, if that makes sense. I know like in, not for sure, but I know in like the Native American folklore, you know, they're more like of a terrorizing beast, I believe. That, you know, they'll actually like come into villages and like ravage people. And I think they're like carnivorous, like vampiric beings more.
Interesting.
Yeah. But
I would like to look more into that.
yeah, you'd have to fact check me on that.
No, there's well, no, just in general. I'm sure there's so many different stories and lore.
Because I know further, there's Wendigos, like Windigo, and then there's Wendigos, Wendigo. And if you look up both, you get some of the same pictures, but also like different iterations. Like the most common one is, it's this like bipedal organism that has like scruffed up fur right here, has like a skull, like a deer skull, but has what appears to be like human arms.
Ah! We'll be right back after these messages.
Thank you.
Don't worry, Mom. I'm eating right.
Don't worry, Mom. I'm eating right.
Don't worry, Mom.
He's eating right. They're eating right here at an Arby's roast beef restaurant. Eating Arby's slow roasted, so wholesome roast beef sandwiches. Slices and slices of tender roast beef. The kind of roast beef Arby's takes the time to make right.
Don't worry, Mom. I'm eating right.
Don't worry, Mom. They're eating at Arby's.
Welcome back, everyone. We had to change cameras because the other one ran out of battery. We're just using my phone. It probably looks better than the camera that I have.
So you're in for a treat now.
So you're in for a treat. I don't know if it's sad to say that maybe my phone camera looks better than my actual like very expensive camera. That's just the way we've gotten in society. But
yeah, Apple Master Race.
Thank you for Thank you to Arby's for sponsoring this
Thank you,
episode.
Arby's, so much.
They sponsored this episode.
They did?
Yeah, we just played a commercial from them. So, yeah, it's pretty great. Thank you, Arby's.
We have the meats.
And thank you for telling that incredible story. That Wendigo story. Still, I'm in the shivers.
Stay shivering.
We got a few more things to cover here.
Okay.
And then we'll call it a day. Do you know how to do any impressions?
Well, off the top, to borrow the Bermuda hat.
Yeah.
I can. A couple of them I haven't done in a while.
Yeah.
I can do a pretty good James Charles impersonation.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Hi, sisters! Is it alright? Because it always freaks out Crystal when I do it.
James.
Hi, sisters! I'm gonna touch you.
That's pretty good actually. I feel like James Charles is just scary though.
Yeah,
and a scary person.
Every video I'd see scrolling or whatever, he's always so primal and he. You know what I mean?
Gay or straight, a man is still a man.
A man is still a man. Man, stay a man.
That's a good. That's pretty good. You got any other ones?
Yeah, could do Gollum.
Gollum, yeah.
I gotta remember a line real quick. All right, let's
say
see.
Or do Gollum ordering something from Arby's.
All right.
Precious ones.
No, it's too high.
Precious ones.
Why is it turning into Dobby?
I don't know, man.
I don't know. We could do a Dobby. Yeah, let's do a Dobby real quick. The Dobby.
Dobby would order.
Are you
Arby's.
the Dobby camp or the Dobby camp? It's Dobby. It's Dobby.
Dobby has a sock.
Dobby has a sock. Dobby has a sock to take to Arby's as currency for a roast beef sandwich.
Dobby has a cock.
Dobby has a
Imagine
dick.
Dobby with just the biggest, fattest cock.
I mean, I think he does, man. I think it's just as an elf, they have a power where it either rolls up like a prehensile tail, so it could fit under the loincloth they're often seen with, because
who knows?
They're working class.
They are.
Who knows? Freaking Lucius.
Besides Dobby and Gollum and James Charles, anything else in your gun?
I think I could try to do a Yoda.
Ooh. Famous Yoda.
Do or do not, there is no try. And then in the original sequel, he has the moments where he's more too young. He's too old.
He's too old. Do or do not, there is no try.
Do you think Yoda would ever try sounding?
I don't know. I think he would. He got real freaky with some of the moments with Luke, getting this close to him. Smacking R2-D2 like he's got a kink or something,
No, it's mine.
When I think when R2 takes back the flashlight that Yoda stole when he's rummaging around for food. Yoda be Yoda.
Yoda be Yoding.
Yoda be Yoda. Yeah, I wish my impersonations and stuff were more developed. They were more in school, That's just something you did pass the time.
Oh, yeah.
That's just something, who could do a better accent, impersonation, interpretation. Getting my words jumbled. Good old word jumble to start your Sunday morning. Sun you up. You want some porridge?
Porridge.
I got some porridge for you. Hold on.
Give me porridge.
Piping hot.
Oh, porridge. Thanks, Papa. Porridge.
Eat that porridge. Real good. That's the last of what your mom made for us. How you liking that porridge, son? Oh. Don't get it on your face now. You're getting it all over. You're gonna have to change your shirt after this. Is it good? He's got more porridge in the bowl. More porridge in the bowl. What was it? It's just so good. He can't get enough, everybody. He just can't get enough.
Go porridge, Papa.
Glad you liked it, son.
Speaking of porridge, I looked up the hardest would you rather question.
Oh, jeez. All right.
I needed to figure out which one was the hardest one, and I found it. Would you rather swim across a pool of semen or a pool of period blood? And you have to swim across in order to survive.
In order to survive. Is there something pursuing me that mobility would be important?
Probably semen or period blood. You wouldn't want to be in there for too long.
Right.
And there's an Italian mobster standing outside of the pool with a gun to your head saying, cross this pool.
Cross this pool.
Or you're gonna be sleeping with the fishes.
That really ups the odds here. Oh, man. I'm thinking, see, you gotta look at it like, they're both gonna be thick in the warm. You know? It's gonna be warm and thick. Because with period blood...
Smelly, too.
Smelly, too. With period blood, you got the clumps.
It's chunks of meat.
It's literally like chunks of blood meat. You know? Like, stay woke, you know? No shame to women, but...
I guess this conversation's NSFW.
NSFW, no, yeah. Make sure your kids ain't watching.
Mm.
Your kids ain't watching. I honestly have to go with period blood. I just feel like if I went through the semen, like I'd never come back from that. But like with period blood, you could reason with yourself, like, oh, it's just blood. It's just blood. But with semen, the only thing that's semen is semen. You feel me? What would you do, Seth?
See, that's really, I understand the reasoning, but I think I would still pick semen.
You still pick semen. Because the other thing with period blood...
It's more familiar to me, I guess.
Right. You know,
but
reap what you sow.
Reap what
you sow. Well...
With
go either way.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, I guess it depends, because with period blood, like you said, there's the chunks,
right?
And also, it's gonna, I don't know. For me, I'm thinking about just visualizing a pool full of blood.
Right.
Would be very disturbing. I would say more disturbing than semen. Semen's just gross, but it's not like horrifying.
Right. It looked more like milk. The other thing with semen though is you got the little jelly bits.
Yeah.
So there's chunks in both mediums here.
Do you think there's any advantage to swimming one of them? Like, do you think one of them is going to be easier to swim through? Do you think one of them is going to be like, you could have more like velocity?
I think in the blood you're going to have more velocity to get away from the Italian mobster with the gun in your head. Because I ain't trying to sleep with the fish.
I'm not trying to sleep with the fishes either.
Right. Because I feel like with the semen, what could happen is, if it's a pool, it's outside, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm thinking there could be like from the pool being filled with semen, okay? We're going to go a little bit farther back here. There's going to be like different layers of like thickness, I feel like.
Yeah.
And then even like dry out. But I feel like with the period blood, it's going to stay more the same consistency. It's going to be less alarming to go through. So if you're swimming through the semen, you know, you could like tip back to, you know, kind of start going again, and then your foot gets stuck in like a semen hole, semen cesspool,
and that could be real dangerous, real fucking tricky.
Right? Because what if the Italian mobster gets, you know, a little ornery, and he's like, "Why aren't you moving?
Why aren't you moving, mate? You got your foot stuck in the hole."
He grew up in Scotland. He's still Italian, but he grew up in Scotland, so you know he picked up the accent.
He's actually from Dutch.
He's from Dutchland?
Yeah.
Dutchland.
What is someone who's Dutch? Where are they from? Danish?
Wait. Oh, God. So the Danes are from Denmark. The Dutch are from the Netherlands.
That's right.
Right.
Wait, is that true?
Yes.
Or is it the Nethers?
The Nether region. Do you think that whole area would be referred to as the Nether region?
Could be. I feel like yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it definitely is on the world map. Come on.
I think it has to be.
Sweet. That would you rather question is not the hardest one. I feel like there's definitely harder ones. Because I feel like I would rather die.
You'd rather die. You'd rather get shot.
I'd be like, no, I don't want to go through that.
You'd sleep with the fishes.
Why would anyone want to go through that?
Right.
Would you?
Is life really worth living that much? You really have to. Once you come out of the pool, you're not gonna be the same.
You'll be shaken.
You'll be shaken for years, maybe.
May I stand unshaken?
I forgot this song. Oh, yeah, hit that. Hit that note.
Stand unshaken. Thank you, everybody, for watching this episode of the Closet Cast.
Closet Cast.
I want to thank Joe for coming on.
It was a pleasure.
Sorry for all the technical difficulties.
The difficulties are going to be difficulties. That's what makes it worthwhile.
It happens.
Right. I mean, if everything came easy, would it be really that fun? You know?
Take it easy. Take it easy. Don't let the sound of your own wheels drive you crazy. Come on, baby. Don't say maybe. I've gotta know that your sweet love's gonna save
me.
Ooh, 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 ooh. Don't you ever sing that song again.